Mudhoji College under the Lead College Cluster Scheme for faculty and students. During this pandemic situation, we have adopted new technology and organizing the webinar on various platforms. Today's world is full of technology and so many changes are taking place in each and every sector. Research and innovations have become the keywords in today's world. Intellectual property aids in economic development of a country by promoting healthy competition and encouraging industrial development and economic growth. Universities and colleges, where research is one of the key areas, must be aware of this IPR. That's why Mudhoji College Fulton Internal Quality Assurance Cell has organized this webinar. Today, we have with us Honorable Dr. Mrudula Bele, IPR expert, renowned author, NDMPVS College of Pharmacy, Nasik, as a resource person. Dr. Sarita Mane, Head, Department of English, as a chairperson, and in-charge principal, Dr. P.H. Kadam. I heartily welcome all of you and all the dignitaries, faculty, students who have gathered here for this session. Henry Ford says, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. Indeed, it is the goal behind organization of national webinar, where the eminent scholarly person come together to enlighten us. I request Dr. Sanjay Dikshit, sir, for introduction of the session and conference and introduce the guest.
Thank you, my colleague, Professor Jyotsna Borate, ma'am. Once again, good morning to all. On behalf of the IQSC Mudhoji College Fulton, District Satara, Maharashtra, I, Dr. Sanjay Dikshit, the coordinator, extend warm welcome to all on the occasion of national webinar today. At the very outset, I welcome Honorable Dr. Mrudula Bele, the resource person of today's webinar. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. P.H. Kadam, the in-charge principal of my college. I also welcome Dr. Sarita Mane, the chairperson of this webinar and the head department of English in my college. I welcome all the participants, both faculty and research students across Maharashtra and outside the state also. Fulton Education Society's Mudhoji College Fulton, established in 1957, is one of the premier educational institutes in Western Maharashtra. Along with the prestigious name of Srimanta Malojiraje Naik Nimbarkar, the royal founder of this institution, this college is also known for late Principal Shivaji Rao Bhosle, the great orator and thinker who led this institute for more than 2 decades. It is a college running conventional courses, BA, BCom, BSc, and PG in languages, as well as BCA, BCA, and BCS. The college has more than 5,000 students on roll today. The college has successfully gone through 3 cycles of NAC so far. Apart from good academic ambience, our college is known for its extracurricular activities, and we have a large number of teachers having PhD and research projects to their names. Friends, intellectual property rights, copyrights, patents, and such other terms have been in discussion in academic field since the last couple of years. It is a fact that due to NAC's focus on research, innovation, incubation, etc., colleges have started to think about these things very seriously. But there is overall such a mahol like Atmanirbhar Bharat, startups, etc., which envisage to channelize this process. If the entire world has become aware of all these things, why not the academic field also take it in its cognizance? So today's national webinar is an attempt to get authentic information of this area from a very towering figure who has been actually working in this area. I really feel proud and honored to get the opportunity to introduce the resource person today. There is no formality or exaggeration to say that Dr. Mrudula Bere is a versatile and dynamic lady. As an academician, she holds PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. She has done LLB and LLM in intellectual property law, and she presently works as an assistant professor at College of Pharmacy, Nashik. She teaches both undergraduate and postgraduate courses there. But apart from her academic contribution, she is engaged in consultancy assignments for pharmaceutical industries on conventional and novel pharmaceutical and cosmetic formulations. And this is the her applicable side along with her teaching career. She is a freelance patent consultant both in India and abroad. Dr. Mrs. Bere has genuine interest in intellectual property rights and regulatory affairs. And to nurture this interest, she has completed postgraduate diploma in patent law from Nalsar University. As I mentioned, she has completed her LLB from Pune University, but the remarkable thing is that she did her LLM from University of Turin, Italy. She has also done 1 year Master of Laws under 1 year full fellowship from World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, and she did it in Italy. In all, 11 teachers are given this fellowship every year across the world, and she was the only Indian to get this honor in 2012 and 13. This was she was the only Indian to get this opportunity, and this fellowship was of 30,000 euros, which she got from WIPO, the World Organization. Dr. Mrs. Bere has also attended 15 days training programs, twice which were organized in Tokyo, Japan, with the help of Japanese Patent Office and WIPO. In this way, she has a very sound academic profile, as well as she has been continuously applying that particular theoretical knowledge in the actual field. Then there is one more thing that I must mention, that she is a renowned author. In Marathi, there is a concept, Siddhast Lekhak. She belongs to that category. In a reputed Marathi newspaper, Lok Sattha, Dr. Bere has offered a very popular column, Katha Akalecha Kandyachi, in which she has tried to explain in a very simple manner the intellectual property laws. Her articles published in the newspaper have been published in a book by Rajahans Prakashan, and this book has achieved several awards, including the prestigious State of Maharashtra Government Award, Best Book in 2017. Recently, in the COVID pandemic, she has authored 2 more books. One is Koronacha Krishna Chayet, which deals with COVID pandemic, and the another one is, the latest one is Ashi Hi Ek Zhunj. It is the book about the contribution of Indian pharmaceutical company Cipla in the AIDS-affected African countries. I think in this way, in a nutshell, it can be said Dr. Mrudula Bere is a pharmacist by training and profession, but by passion and practice, she is an IPR expert, and I think she is the best resource person to enlighten us on this topic today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dikshit sir, for introducing the guest. May I take this opportunity to request our resource person, Dr. Mrudula Bere, to enlighten us with her scholarly words. We are very enthusiastic to hear you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dikshit, for the kind words of introduction. I realize that my bio is too long and I need to reduce it from next time onwards. I'll cut it down. let me share the presentation with you. I hope my presentation is visible. Yeah, is this visible?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Thank you. So just to start the talk on a lighter note, this says that this guy is a patent consultant like me, and these are his clients. And one of those clients is saying that all I asked was, can I patent my copyrighted trademark? This is his question. And the consultant is almost fainted to hear this question, because patents and copyrights and trademarks are different forms of intellectual property, and you cannot patent a copyrighted trademark. Basically, you cannot copyright a trademark and you cannot patent a copyrighted trademark. So if you don't see a problem in this question, or if you often ask such questions, then you definitely need this talk. So I just hope that at the end of today's session, after the end of today's session, none of you would be making such statements, and at least we would understand that what are the different forms of intellectual property. So intellectual property, as the name suggests, is a creation of mind or intellect. We Indians understand the meaning of the word property very well, right? पण आपल्याला दोनच प्रकारच्या प्रॉपर्ट्या माहिती आहेत, स्थावर मालमत्ता आणि जंगम मालमत्ता. पैसा, सोनं आणि जागा, जमीन, या तीनच प्रकारच्या मालमत्ता आपल्याला माहिती असतात. मे आय रिक्वेस्ट ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू म्यूट देअर माइक्स. Miss Shivani Shinde, would you please mute your mic? Thank you. सो आपल्याला ह्या 2-3 प्रकारच्याच प्रॉपर्ट्या माहिती असतात. जमीन किती आहे, सोनं किती आहे, पैसा किती आहे लॉकर मध्ये. सो वी इंडियन्स आर अनअवेअर, वी हॅव नॉट डेव्हलप्ड sufficient awareness about another form of property which is called intellectual property. So property, we know, is means of earning money. Okay, and anything which is a creation of your mind, with the help of that, if you are able to create a property, then it is called intellectual property. And intellectual property rights are the legal rights governing the use of creations of the human mind. So all types of intellectual property, be it a patent or a copyright or a trademark, they give the creator, whosoever has created that idea, what is his right? His right is to exclude others from using it for a certain period of time. So no one else would be able to use your intellectual property without your permission. That is the right one has as a creator of intellectual. So what is the, then I just mentioned the forms of properties we Indians are very familiar with, like movable and immovable property. So is there any difference between the other types of properties and intellectual properties, or are they same? There are many similarities. For example, just like other forms of property, you can sell away intellectual property and make money, just like you can sell a piece of land, or like you can sell your gold and make money. You can also sell your intellectual property and make money. Just like other forms of property, you can even inherit intellectual property, okay, from your ancestors. Pidi jaat chalat yewu shakte ती. But there are many differences as well, and it is very important to understand the differences between other forms of intellectual property, other forms of property and intellectual property. So the first major difference is intellectual property is intangible. Okay, you cannot measure it. You can measure how much land, how many acres of land you own, or you can measure how many grams of gold you have, but you cannot count how much intellectual property you have. So it cannot be measured, it is intangible. Then secondly, it is non-driverless. Now, what do you mean by non-driverless? What you're seeing on the screen are the famous lines, are the lines by the famous Thomas Jefferson, who is considered as father of intellectual property in the US. So what he said about intellectual properties, he who receives an idea from me receives instruction himself without lessening mine, as he who lights his taper at mine receives light without darkening me. What you are seeing here is a light being lit on another light, ज्याला आपण मराठी ज्योतीने ज्योत पेटवणं म्हणतो. सो थॉमस जेफरसन असं म्हणतो की माझी आयडिया जर कोणी चोरली तरी ती आयडिया माझ्याकडे राहतेच. तसंच कशासारखं आहे, जर कोणी माझ्या ज्योतीवर स्वतःचा दिवा पेटवून घेतला तरी मला प्रकाश मिळणं बंद होत नाही. Now this is a major difference between intellectual property and other forms of property, to which we call it non-rivalrousness. याचा अर्थ काय, समजा तुमची जमीन कुणी चोरली, if someone encroaches on, you have 10 acres of land and somebody encroaches on half an acre of your land. So you are left with 9.5 acres and the other person has got half acre, right? Or if somebody steals, you had 1 lakh rupees and somebody has stolen 20,000 rupees from that. So you are still left with, you are left with 80,000 and he has received 20,000. But if somebody steals your idea, which is intellectual property, if somebody steals your intellectual property, you still have the knowledge about the IP and he also gets it, which means this is a difference between intellectual property and the other forms of property, and to which we call non-rivalrous, म्हणजे ज्यांनी शत्रुत्व निर्माण होत नाही अशी. So this is another difference between intellectual property and other forms. And the third difference is it is non-excludable. So if you have a piece of land and you want to protect it from others, you can put a fence. तुम्ही कुंपण घालू शकता. If you want to protect your gold, you can keep it in the locker. Okay, but how will you build a fence around your idea? तुम्ही तुमच्या आयडिया कुंपणात घालू शकता का नाही? As soon as you start using those ideas, those will be visible to people and people will start stealing it. So other forms of properties are excludable. You can stop others from using it, but intellectual property is non-excludable. You cannot stop others from using it on your own. So these are the three differences, major differences, that IP is intangible, it is non-rivalrous, and it is non-excludable, unlike the other forms of property. And because you cannot stop others on your own from using your property, then you need the government to step in. And the government has created different types of intellectual property laws with the help of which the government helps you in protecting your ideas. There are some other features of intellectual property. Right now, I'll talk, for the purpose of this discussion, talk only about the first two features. It's not important to speak about the last three. So every form of intellectual property generally has a limited period of protection. So patents a period of protection is 20 years, किंवा copyrights a period of protection is 60 years after the death of the author. So it is a monopoly for a limited period of protection. And once that time gets over, then the intellectual property comes in public domain and anybody and everybody would be able to use it. Another feature of intellectual property is it is territorial. What do I mean by territoriality? ज्याला मराठीत आपण स्थानिक म्हणतो, स्थानिकता. What do I mean by this? So suppose if you have filed a patent in India, then your invention is protected only within the geographical boundaries of India. Okay, if somebody copies your invention in the United States of America, then you cannot do anything. So in order to take an action against copying in a country outside India, you need to have a patent in that country. Otherwise, you will not be able to do that. So the moral of the story is there does not exist a global intellectual property or a global patent. If you wish to market your invention in 12 countries, then you will have to get a patent in 12 other countries, and then only you would be able to stop others from using your invention. So of the word territoriality. So what the intellectual property does creates a monopoly. Okay. Once you register your intellectual property, then you create a monopoly. Nobody other than you would be able to make it. So what happens because of that? There is a simple rule of economics की वस्तूंच्या किमती केव्हा कमी व्हायला लागतात जेव्हा मार्केटमध्ये खूप कॉम्पिटिशन असते. एक्सक्यूज मी. सो मार्केटमध्ये कॉम्पिटिशन सुरू झाली की गोष्टींच्या किमती. Is it okay if I speak in Marathi in between? Is that fine? Anyone who do not understand Marathi? Okay, I hope it is okay if I speak in Marathi in between. So, yeah, so once you register an intellectual property, then nobody else would be able to make it except you. That is what is called as monopoly. And there is a simple concept in economics: more is the competition in the market, less is the price of the goods. So what happens that whenever you give away intellectual properties, then you stop the competition. Competition बंद झाली की वस्तूंच्या किमती वाढायला लागतात. Okay, and once the prices start rising, it would not benefit of the society. The delicate
Ma'am, you are not audible now. Ma'am, you are not audible presently. Hello, madam.
now, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. So what I was trying to say, that the more you give away patents, the more the things become expensive for a common man. आणि जर तुम्ही कॉमन माणसासाठी गोष्टी महाग होऊ नयेत म्हणून पेटंट्स दिले नाही, तर मग there is no incentive for the researcher to do research. So this is a delicate balance of the intellectual. It's true about patents and it is true about any other intellectual property. So you have to frame your policies, you have to frame your laws in such a way so that both the researchers and the society are at benefit, which is very difficult to achieve. There are two basically classes of intellectual property. First is copyrights and the other is industrial property. So trademarks, patents, all other forms of intellectual property like trademarks, patents, industrial designs, trade secrets, and geographical indicators fall under industrial property, and copyrights are considered different. Now, it is impossible to cover all the forms of IP in 1 hour lecture, but we'll quickly go through. So, copyrights kachavarti miltat. Copyrights are obtained on original, literary, dramatic, sound recording, artistic, musical, and cinematographic works. On all these things, you get a copyright. So, literary work, anything which belongs to a literature. So it can be a story, it can be a poem, it can be a research paper, research article, it can be a book, it can be a novel, anything which is written in the form of literature. If it is original, then you get a copyright on that. On a drama, you can get a copyright. Artistic works like paintings or sculptures are protected by copyright. Musical compositions are protected by copyrights. Cinematographic works like cinemas are protected by copyright, and sound recordings are protected by copyrights. The last word, work, is very, very important. What does the word mean? What does the word work mean? It means it has to be, it cannot be in the form of an idea. It has to be fixed in the form, in some form. To give you an example, suppose an idea comes to your mind की असा एक प्लॉट आहे माझ्या डोक्यात आणि ह्याच्यावरती आपण एक पुस्तक लिहूया किंवा सिनेमा बनवूया, एक स्टोरी आहे. Okay, so one fine day when you were talking with your friend, you disclose that idea to him and then you forget about it, but your friend remembers it, he writes a script on that and he launches a movie. When you see the movie, you realize that your friend has stolen your idea and he has made a movie on that. So is this an infringement of copyright? No, because your idea was in the form of an idea in your head and the ideas cannot be copyrighted. The expression of idea is copyrighted, which means you have to basically write a script, write a novel, write a story. You fix that idea in the form of a script, which is then called a work. And if you have fixed that idea, then only you would be able to copyright it. Okay. Otherwise, you would not be able to copyright the idea. So basically, the idea is not copyrightable. The expression of idea in some form. So it can be a music tune in your mind. So you must give it a form. You must compose a song, and that song gets copyrighted, not the tune in your mind. So you have to give it a form, and that form is copyrighted, and that fixation of idea in some form is called work. So it has to be original. No one else has made it before you, and it has to be a work. It cannot be merely an idea in your head, and then you get a copyright on this. What are the rights of copyright holder? The basic right, as I told you, is to stop others from using your creation in any form without your permission. So you can stop others from making copies of your book. You can stop others from making derivative works. Derivative works means adaptation. For example, making a movie on a novel or translations. Okay, so translations and adaptations are called derivative works. And you can stop others from making such derivative works without your permission. Nobody can display your work without your permission. Nobody can distribute your work without your permission. Nobody can perform your work on your work without your permission. So if you have composed a song and somebody is singing that song in an orchestra to which people are coming after paying money, it is a ticketed show, and the person who is singing the song has not taken your permission, then technically you can file a lawsuit against that person for infringement of copyright. हे आपल्याला अजिबात माहिती नसतं. सो तुम्ही एखाद्या नाटकाचा प्रयोग जर करणार असाल तर तुम्ही त्या नाटकाच्या लेखकाला, दिग्दर्शकाला विचारलं पाहिजे, त्यांनी मागितली तर त्याला रॉयल्टी दिली पाहिजे आणि तरच तुम्ही त्याच्यावर परफॉर्म करू शकता. Okay, let's skip this. So as I said, the great debate of copyright law is whether the idea has been copied or the expression has been copied. So if the idea is copied, then it is not considered infringement of copyright. But if the idea and expression both are copied, you can see an example here. This is a very famous poem which all of us know. बालकवींची प्रसिद्ध कविता, श्रावण मासी हर्ष मानसी हिरवळ दाटे चोहीकडे, क्षणात येती सरसर शिरवे, क्षणात फिरूनी ऊन पडे. सो श्रावण महिन्यामध्ये सगळी सृष्टी कशी सुंदर दिसत असते यावर लिहिलेली ही कविता आहे. मग आयडिया काय आहे या कवितेची, की श्रावण महिन्याचा सृष्टीवर होणाऱ्या परिणामांचं वर्णन. डज दिस मीन ही आयडिया आहे. So if anybody, any other person other than Balkavi, if he would have written a kavita on Shravan Mahina, आणि श्रावण महिन्यामध्ये सुंदर दिसणारा निसर्ग, ह्यावर कविता लिहिण्यापासून तुम्ही थांबवू शकता का? कोणाला नाही. मग तुम्ही केव्हा थांबवू शकता? जर तुम्ही अशी कविता लिहिली तर. ही शब्द ऐका, मधूनच येती सरसर धारा, मधून कोवळे ऊन पडे, श्रावण मासी आनंद मनी हिरवे होते चोहीकडे. So this person has not only copied the idea, he has also copied the expression, he has also copied the words. And this is a classical case of copyright infringement. But if you have written a poem on the month of Shravan and the beautiful nature in that month, and if somebody else has also written a poem on the same topic, though the words are completely different, is this considered as infringement of copyright? No. So if you have to file a copyright infringement suit on someone, you will have to prove it in the court that the expression has been copied and not only the idea. Let us stop this. Okay, we can skip this. Okay, in India, the term of copyrights is 60 years after the death of the author. Okay. सो तुम्ही जर आज एखादं पुस्तक लिहिलं आणि यानंतर 25 वर्षांनी तुमचा मृत्यू झाला, तर त्यानंतर 60 वर्षापर्यंत तुमच्याकडे कॉपीराइट असतो. म्हणजे युअर फॅमिली कॅन बी बेनिफिटेड फॉर 60 more years फ्रॉम द रॉयल्टी, अँड आफ्टर दॅट यू स्टॉप गेटिंग द रॉयल्टी. इफ इट इज अ अनॉनिमस वर्क, then it is 60 years from the beginning of the year in which it was published. If it is a posthumous work, म्हणजे तुमचा मृत्यू झाल्यानंतर ते पब्लिश झालंय, again it is 60 years from the beginning of the year following the year in which the work get published. And cinematographic films, government works, again 60 years from the beginning of the year following the year of first publication. I don't know if I need to address this. Dikshit sir, should I talk more about patents?
Okay, madam, you can proceed.
So would you like to hear more about patents?
Okay, madam, it is sufficient. You can cover the next point.
If we get time, I'll speak about plagiarism.
Okay, madam.
Okay, let us quickly go through plagiarism because it is important for all the academicians. Okay, there is a concept in copyright which is called fair use of copyrights. So if you have copied someone else's work, but you have not copied the entire work, जसं की आपण एखाद्या पुस्तकातला 4-5 पानं कॉपी करून मुलांना दिली शिकवण्यासाठी. So if it was a limited portion of the work, and when you gave it, there was no economic इंटरेस्ट. म्हणजे आपण एका पुस्तकातल्या 4 पानांची झेरॉक्स मुलांना अभ्यासासाठी दिली का, कारण त्या पुस्तकाची एकच कॉपी लायब्ररीमध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. ओके, आणि ते देऊन तुम्ही काही पैसे कमवणार नव्हता. So this is not considered infringement of copyright, which is very important for us in academics to understand. When it is being used for educational purpose or it is being used for private personal use, it is being used for news reporting. तुम्हाला रिपोर्टिंग करताना त्यामध्ये ती वापरायचं आहे, किंवा तुम्ही ज्युडिशियल पर्पजेस साठी कसला तरी एव्हिडन्स म्हणून दिलाय. In these conditions, it is not considered infringement of copyright, even if you have copied a limited portion of the work without the permission of the owner, and there was no there was no financial interest in it. Then it is considered not as infringement, but it is considered as fair use of copyright. Okay, then another implication of copyrights in academics is plagiarism. Okay, and day in and day out we have to deal with plagiarism in academics when we are evaluating our students' thesis, or when we ourselves are writing research papers. We have to deal with plagiarism, and now our universities have implemented very strict guidelines about plagiarism. So plagiarism is the act of stealing someone else's work and attempting to pass it off as your own. तुम्ही दोन चुका ह्यात करता. एक म्हणजे तुम्ही चोरता, आणि दुसरं म्हणजे तुम्ही ते स्वतःचं आहे असं दाखवायचा प्रयत्न करता. This can apply to anything from term papers to photographs to songs, anything that is protected by copyright law. If you do that, then that is considered plagiarism. So what are the different types of plagiarism? The first, when you are copying, when you are, mic is on. Yeah, so if you are copying word to word, the most well-known and sadly the most common type of plagiarism is the simplest, that is copying. If you copy someone else's work and put your name on it, you have plagiarized. So word to word copy is one example, and you are not giving the due credits. The second type is patchwork plagiarism, in which it is similar to copying and perhaps the second most common type of plagiarism, ज्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही तुकड्या तुकड्यामध्ये कॉपी करता. So this occurs when the plagiarizer borrows the phrases and clauses from the original source. तुम्ही मधले महत्वाचे वाक्य कॉपी करता आणि त्यात मध्ये मध्ये स्वतःच्या भाषेमध्ये लिहिता. So you are borrowing the phrases and clauses from from original source and weave them into his own writing without putting the phrases in quotation marks. Generally आपण पेपर मध्ये जर यांनी याच्या पेपर मध्ये असं म्हटलं आहे असं लिहायचं असेल तर we put it in inverted commas and we in bracket write the name of the author. But if you are not doing it and you are trying to pass it off as your own sentence, then it is an example of patchwork plagiarism. So हे जर तुम्ही पाहिलं असेल, हा ओरिजिनल सेंटेन्स होता, त्यातले ओरिजिनल पॅरा होता, हा पॅरेग्राफ, हा असाच्या असं कॉपी केलं तर इट इज अ कॉपी प्लॅगियरिझम. हा जो कॉपी केलाय, so if you can see the purple colored lines are completely lifted and the black color lines are your own. So this is an example of patchwork plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism, if you know that Spinbot वगैरे सारख्या काही sites आहेत, तो आपले स्टुडंट्स आता खूप हुशार आहेत. So what they do is त्यांना एखादं पॅराग्राफ कॉपी करायचं असेल पण ते प्लॅगियरिझम वाटू नये अशी इच्छा असेल तर तो पॅराग्राफ स्पिनबॉट मध्ये कॉपी पेस्ट करतात आणि स्पिनबॉट तुम्हाला वेगळ्या पद्धतीने ती वाक्य फ्रेम करून देतात, पॅराफ्रेझिंग करून देतात. त्याचा अर्थ तोच असतो, पण थोडेसे शब्द बदललेले असतात. तर दिस इज ऑल्सो कन्सिडर्ड ॲज प्लॅगियरिझम अँड दिस इज थर्ड टाईप विच इज कॉल्ड पॅराफ्रेझिंग प्लॅगियरिझम. हे एक्झाम्पल आहे की काही शब्द बदलले, काही तसेच ठेवलेत, वेगळ्या अर्थाचे शब्द वापरले. पण ह्या सगळ्या प्रकारमध्ये एक कॉमन आहे की तुम्ही ड्यू क्रेडिट ऑथरला दिलेलं नाही. सो देर इज अनदर टाईप विच इज अनइंटेन्शनल, जेव्हा तुम्हाला ओरिजिनल ऑथरचं नाव माहिती नव्हतं आणि म्हणून तुम्ही दुसऱ्याच ऑथरचं ते नाव आहे असं समजून दिलंच, बट स्टील इट इज कन्सिडर्ड ॲज प्लॅगियरिझम. So there is always, in case of plagiarism or in case of law, it is always said that we don't read minds, we don't know what you meant to do. मला तसं करायचं नव्हतं, माझा तो उद्देश नव्हता, याला काहीही अर्थ नसतो. लॉला तुमचा माइंड वाचता येत नाही. So your actions only are considered. So the best way to avoid plagiarism is you simply be honest. Avoiding plagiarism, the best method is simply being honest. When you have used a source in your paper, give credit when it is due, acknowledge the author of the original work which you have used, the simplest way. And these are some free plagiarism checking tools. DupliChecker, Plagiarisma or EduBuddy, इकडे तुम्ही plagiarism check करू शकता. Then we come to second important form of intellectual property, which is a patent. So when issued, what is a patent? Patent is basically a contract between the government and the inventor. जेव्हा तुम्ही कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट साइन करता तेव्हा दोन्ही पार्ट्यांना काहीतरी मिळायला पाहिजे. गव्हर्नमेंटला काय मिळतं? वेगवेगळ्या विषयात देशामध्ये रिसर्च चालू राहतो आणि त्यामुळे देशाची इकॉनॉमी ग्रो होते. आणि दुसरी महत्वाची गोष्ट जी मिळते गव्हर्नमेंटला ती म्हणजे कम्प्लीट डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ द इन्व्हेन्शन. इन्व्हेंटरला पेटंट मिळवण्यासाठी त्याचं इन्व्हेन्शन पूर्णपणे डिस्क्लोज करावं लागतं पेटंटमध्ये. आणि ह्याचा उपयोग काय होतो? पेटंटचं लाईफ असतं 20 वर्षानंतर. 20 वर्षानंतर कोणीही तुमच्या इन्व्हेन्शनची कॉपी तुमच्या पेटंटमध्ये वाचून करू शकतं आणि त्याला 20 वर्षांनी तशी कॉपी करता यावी म्हणून तुम्हाला पेटंट फाईल करताना सगळी इन्फॉर्मेशन डिटेलमध्ये डिस्क्लोज करावी लागते. इफ यू डोंट डिस्क्लोज ऑल द इन्फॉर्मेशन, यू डोंट गेट द पेटंट. So the government gets the disclosure of the invention so that others can replicate it after the life of the patent gets over. And the governmentला दुसरी गोष्ट ही मिळते की रिसर्च चालू राहतो, देशाची इकॉनॉमी सुधारते. आणि इन्व्हेंटरला काय मिळतं तर त्याला मोनोपली मिळते, म्हणजे 20 वर्षासाठी त्याच्या परवानगीशिवाय कोणीही ती वस्तू बदलवू शकत नाही. सो एकतर तो स्वतः बनवून विकेल आणि हव्या त्या किमतीला विकेल कारण कॉम्पिटिशन नाही, आणि दुसऱ्यांना जर ती बनवायची झाली तर त्या बदल्यात त्याला रॉयल्टी द्यायला लागेल. सो दॅट इज व्हॉट अ पेटंट इज. नाउ व्हेन कॅन वन रजिस्टर फॉर अ पेटंट? तुम्ही जर एखादा रिसर्च केला आहे तर ते पेटंटेबल आहे की नाही हे कधी ठरवायचं? देर आर 3 क्रायटेरिया ऑफ पेटंटेबिलिटी. नॉवेल आहे का? नॉन ऑब्व्हियस आहे का? नॉन ऑब्व्हियसनेसचं दुसरं नाव आहे इन्व्हेंटिव्ह स्टेट. अँड डज इट हॅव युटिलिटी ऑर इंडस्ट्रियल ऍप्लिकेशन? हे तिन्ही क्रायटेरिया जर सॅटिस्फाय होत असतील, करत असेल तुमचं रिसर्च, तर ते पेटंटेबल आहे असं आपण समजूया. आता आपण एकेका गोष्टीबद्दल बोलूया. सो व्हेन अन इन्व्हेन्शन इज सेड टू बी नॉव्हल, जेव्हा इट इज नॉट डिस्क्लोज्ड इन टू द पब्लिक इन इंडिया or anywhere else in the world by a written or oral description or by use or in any other way before filing the date of patent application. म्हणजे तुम्ही पेटंट फाईल करायच्या आधी ते भारतात किंवा जगभरात कुठेही डिस्क्लोज झालेलं असता कामा नये. मग डिस्क्लोज कसं होऊ शकतं? सो इट इज नॉट डिस्क्लोज्ड इन एनी रिटन पब्लिकेशन, म्हणजे त्यावर कोणी पेटंट फाईल केलेलं नाही, रिसर्च पेपर लिहिलेला नाही, रिसर्च आर्टिकल लिहिलेलं नाही, न्यूजपेपर मध्ये लिहून आलेलं नाही वगैरे. सो देर इज नो रिटन डिस्क्लोजर, देर इज नो ओरल डिस्क्लोजर. कुणीही त्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल कुठल्या कॉन्फरन्स मध्ये बोललेलं नाही, ते बाजारात विकत मिळत नाही, ते कुठल्याही एक्झिबिशन मध्ये मांडलेलं नाही, आणि लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट त्याचा यूज अदरवाईज लोकांना माहिती नाही. म्हणजे इट इज नॉट अ ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज. तुम्हाला हळदी पेटंटची फेमस गोष्ट माहिती आहे, सो हळदीच्या अँटीसेप्टिक यूज वरती अमेरिकेमध्ये पेटंट देण्यात आलं आणि मग आपण ती केस त्याच्यावरती लॉसूट फाईल केला. आपलं म्हणणं काय होतं की जरी हळदीच्या अँटीसेप्टिक यूज बद्दल कुठे लिहून आलं नाहीये, तरी भारतातल्या सगळ्या फॅमिलीज मध्ये, म्हणजे आता समजा माझ्या मुलीचा हात कापला, बोट कापलं काहीतरी लिहिताना, तर मी लगेच जाऊन त्याच्यावरती एक हळदीची चिमूट दाबते. मी हे का करते, मला कसं माहितीये की हळद दाबायची? बिकॉज आय हॅव सीन माय मदर डुईंग इट. My mother has seen her mother doing it. Okay, so though it has not been published in written publication or disclosed orally, we know it from generations. It is our traditional knowledge. So अशा गोष्टीवरही तुम्ही दुसऱ्याच्या ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज वरती पेटंट फाईल करू शकत नाही. बेसिकली ती कम्प्लिटली तुमची आयडिया असली पाहिजे आणि त्या आधी ती कुणीही बनवलेली असता कामा नये, त्याबद्दल लिहिलं असता कामा नये, बोललेलं असता कामा नये, त्याबद्दल ती विकलेली असता कामा नये, ती एक्झिबिशन मध्ये मांडलेली असता कामा नये. हा झाला पहिला क्रायटेरिया. द सेकंड फीचर ऑफ, म्हणजे जर नॉवेल आहे तुमचं इन्व्हेन्शन हे प्रूव्ह झालं, तर द सेकंड क्रायटेरिया इज नॉन ऑब्व्हियसनेस ऑर इन्व्हेंटिव्ह स्टेप. जनरली काय होतं की आपण जे इन्व्हेन्शन करतो ते काही ब्रेक थ्रू इन्व्हेन्शन्स नसतात. आपण जुनं जे इन्व्हेन्शन ऑलरेडी मार्केटमध्ये आहे त्याच्यातला एखादा फीचर मॉडिफाय केलेला असतो, त्याच्यामध्ये थोडा बदल केलेला असतो. मग हा जो बदल आपण केलेला आहे तो त्या क्षेत्रातलं नॉलेज असलेल्या माणसासाठी ऑब्व्हियस आहे की नॉन ऑब्व्हियस आहे. ओके, इफ इट इज अ व्हेरी व्हेरी ऑब्व्हियस थिंग फॉर अ पर्सन ट्रेन्ड इन द ऑर्डिनरी, हॅव्हिंग ऑर्डिनरी स्किल इन द आर्ट, अशा मला माणसाला म्हणतात फोसिता. सो त्या क्षेत्रातलं ऑर्डिनरी स्किल असलेल्या माणसासाठी तो बदल करणं, बारेकचा चेंज करणं, इफ इट इज व्हेरी ऑब्व्हियस, then though your invention is novel, it will fail the second criteria of patentability, that is non-obviousness or inventive step. Okay, otherwise it will get the patent. And the third criteria of patentability is industrial use or industrial application. So तुम्ही एखादा थिअरम शोधून काढलं, जसं न्यूटननी ग्रॅव्हिटीचा शोध लावला, तर ग्रॅव्हिटी चा शोध लावला किंवा न्यूटनचा थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन आहे. सो त्या थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशनचा काही इंडस्ट्रियल यूज आहे का? आपण ते इंडस्ट्रियली बनवू शकतो का? तर नाही बनवू शकत. आणि म्हणून ज्या गोष्टीला इंडस्ट्रियल ऍप्लिकेशन असतं किंवा युटिलिटी असते, म्हणजे ते एखादं प्रोडक्ट आहे जे इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये बनवता येतं कारखान्यात, अशाच गोष्टीवर पेटंट मिळतं. Patent is always given on technology or applied science. It is never given on pure or basic science. So Einstein's theory of relativity, Newton's third law of motion, हे कितीही ग्रेट असले तरी त्यावर पेटंट मिळत नाही. पण समजा तुम्ही एक रॉकेट बनवलंय which works on the principle of Newton's third law of motion, तर त्यावर तुम्हाला पेटंट मिळेल. So that is novelty, non-obviousness, and industrial application are the three criteria of patentability. I told you that there are some features of patents, like there is no global patent. Okay, कुठल्याही वस्तूवरती ग्लोबल पेटंट मिळत नाही. दॅट इज बिकॉज व्हॉट इज पेटंटेबल इन कंट्री ए, भारतामध्ये ज्यावर पेटंट मिळतं त्यावर US मध्ये पेटंट मिळेलच असं नाही. कारण भारताचा आणि अमेरिकेचा पेटंट कायदा वेगळा आहे आणि म्हणून तुम्हाला जिथे जिथे तुमचं इन्व्हेन्शन प्रोटेक्ट व्हायला हवंय असं वाटतं तिथे तिथे तुम्ही जाऊन पेटंट्स घ्यायला लागतात. अँड दॅट इज व्हॉट इज कॉल्ड ॲज टेरिटोरियालिटी. The life of patent is limited. It is of 20 years. After 20 years, it comes in public domain, and anybody or everybody would be able to use that knowledge and can duplicate that invention. Another important thing which I want you to understand is, number one, patent is given only on discovery, on inventions and not discoveries. So here we need to understand what is the difference between an invention and discovery. So Newton's third law of motion or gravity was a discovery and it is not an invention. ह्याचा अर्थ काय की ग्रॅव्हिटी ही काही न्यूटननी बनवली नव्हती. ओके, इट ऑलवेज एक्झिस्टेड इन द नेचर. ही जस्ट डिस्कवर्ड इट ऍक्सिडेंटली. सो पेटंट्स हे डिस्कव्हरीज वर मिळत नाहीत. जी गोष्ट तुम्ही स्वतः बनवली आहे ज्याला आपण इन्व्हेन्शन म्हणतो. सो इफ यू हॅव मॅन्युफॅक्चर्ड इट इन द लॅब अँड इट डिड नॉट एक्झिस्ट बिफोर यू मॅन्युफॅक्चर्ड इट, then it is called an invention, and patents are given on inventions and not on discoveries. So तुम्ही एखाद्या प्लांटची एक नवी स्पीशीज शोधून काढली किंवा एखाद्या बॅक्टेरियाची नवी स्पीशीज तुम्हाला सापडली, that doesn't mean you have created that species. It always existed in nature. You just have found it out. So this is a discovery and not an invention, and you will not get a patent on that. But if you have transgenically made a new microorganism in the lab by carrying out genetic mutations, and this microorganism did not exist before you made it, then it is called a invention and patent would be given. So patents are given on inventions and not on discoveries. And secondly, patents are given on product or a process to make a product. या दोनच गोष्टींवरती, ते एक तर उत्पादन असलं पाहिजे किंवा ते उत्पादन बनवण्याची प्रक्रिया असली पाहिजे. सो फॉर एक्झाम्पल, उद्या तुम्ही एखादी नवी लँग्वेज शिकण्याची नवी मेथड शोधून काढली. सो if you use that method, it will be very easy for you to learn that language. Can you get a patent on that? No. Why? Because is it a product? No. Is it a process to make a product? No. Then you won't get a patent on. It is a method of doing some mental act, that is learning a new language. So such things are not patentable. किंवा तुम्ही एखादं पझल सोडवायची नवी मेथड शोधून काढली, you cannot get a patent on such things. So whenever you have invented something in your lab, you should ask these questions. Is it a discovery or a invention? If the answer is invention, then you go ahead. You may be able to get a patent. But if it is a discovery, go ahead and write a research paper. You will not get a patent on this. Secondly, is it a product or process to make a product? If the answer is yes, then go ahead. Then see whether it is novel, is it non-obvious, and does it have an industrial application? So if it answers all these questions in yes, then you may be able to get a patent for that. Otherwise, you will not be able to get a patent. Another important warning which I would like to give. So if you have invented something and if you feel that you would be able to file a patent on this, then please do not write a research paper before filing the patent. File a patent first and then write a research paper. Or if that invention was a part of your PhD dissertation or master's dissertation, then before submitting the thesis, you file a patent. Okay. Or do not disclose it in orally in any conference. Do not exhibit it in any exhibition before the date of filing the patent. File the patent first and then you can disclose. So never do that if you feel that something you have invented is patentable. So this is about patents. We'll quickly see the procedure of filing a patent and then we'll stop. We'll not go into the legal. Yeah. So these questions, that who can file a patent, where to file a patent, and how to file a patent, these are the important questions. So who can file a patent? Any person who claims to be the inventor. तुम्ही जर स्वतः त्याचा शोध लावला असेल किंवा जर तुम्हाला ते असाइन केलं असेल. सो इफ आय एम अ अकॅडमिक रिसर्चर, I have invented something, but I can't make it on my own. So I I sign a contract with some industry and I say that I am assigning this patent to you. So we make a licensing agreement, and through this agreement, I have assigned it to some industry. Then that industry can file a patent. So either you have to be an inventor or you have to be a assignee. Assignee म्हणजे कोण? ज्याला ट्रू अँड फर्स्ट इन्व्हेंटरनी ते पेटंट असाइन केलेलं असतं. ऑफकोर्स बाय टेकिंग मनी. हे फुकट कोणीच असाइन करत नाही. or the legal representative of any deceased person or assignee. जर इन्व्हेंटर स्वतः मरण पावलाय किंवा असाइनी मरण पावला आहे तर त्याचा जो लीगल रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह, लीगल एअर असेल म्हणजे मुलगा असेल, लीगली जो त्याचा वारसदार असेल तो हे पेटंट फाईल करू शकतो. कुठे फाईल करू शकता तुम्ही? सो देर आर 4 पेटंट ऑफिसेस इन इंडिया, चेन्नई, मुंबई, न्यू दिल्ली and Kolkata. So if you are residing in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Chhattisgarh, Union Territories, Daman, Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, इथे तुम्ही राहत असाल किंवा तुमची प्लेस ऑफ बिझनेस असेल इथे, तर यू कॅन फाईल अ पेटंट इन मुंबई. जर तुम्ही या स्टेट्स मध्ये राहत असाल तर यू हॅव टू फाईल अ पेटंट ऍट चेन्नई ब्रांच. जर तुम्ही इथे राहत असाल या स्टेट्स मध्ये किंवा तुमचं स्टेट ऑफ प्लेस ऑफ बिझनेस या स्टेट्स मध्ये असेल, सो यू हॅव टू फाईल अ पेटंट इन न्यू दिल्ली. And in rest of the states, if you are living, then you have to file a patent at Kolkata. Kolkata Patent Office is considered as head office. You can file a patent online, or you can physically go and file a patent. What is the procedure? So you have to write the patent application. You have to make a draft. Now, drafting a patent application is not a simple thing, and one needs to have a lot of knowledge to write and be able to draft, because it is not like drafting a research paper. So in order to be able to draft a good patent, you should be able to draft the claims in the patent, जो part research paper मध्ये आपण करत नाही. आणि त्यासाठी one needs to have a lot of expertise for drafting a patent, आणि त्यासाठी आमच्यासारखे लोक असतात. So you can attempt to draft a patent, but then it may prove to be a bad patent. So you have to first write a patent and file the patent application. This patent gets published in a patent office journal within 18 months. Now, within 48 months of filing a patent application, you have to file a request for examination. Then after the patent gets published in the journal, now publication of the patent in the journal is not the grant of the patent. आपल्याला कसं वाटतं की आपला रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश झाला म्हणजे झालं, तसं पेटंट पब्लिश झालं म्हणजे झालं असं अजिबात नाहीये. ते जसं तुम्ही सबमिट करता तसंच्या तसं पेटंट ऑफिसच्या जर्नल मध्ये पब्लिश होतं. देन कुणीही त्याला विरोध करू शकतं, ज्याला अपोजिशन म्हणतात. सो एनीबडी वुड can oppose the grant of this patent. After you file a request for examination, the examiners in the patent office examine your patent. Examine करतात म्हणजे काय करतात, मी जे क्रायटेरिया सांगितले की ते नॉवेल आहे का, नॉन ऑब्वियस आहे का, कोणाची कॉपी केली आहे का, इंडस्ट्रियल यूज आहे का, हे सगळं बघितलं जातं. आणि त्यानुसार तुमच्याकडे एक ऑफिस सेक्शन येते की त्यांना जर असं वाटतंय की हे जे तुम्ही क्लेम केले ते काढून टाकायला पाहिजे किंवा नॉन ऑब्वियस नाहीये, you have to answer to those queries, and if they are satisfied with your explanation, then they will publish the intention to grant the patent, and then you will be able to claim that it is your granted patent. After the grant also, within 1 year, people can file a opposition even before the grant and after the grant. 1 वर्षात जर कोणी अपोजिशन फाईल केली नाही तर मग ते पेटंट पूर्णपणे तुमचं झालं, अँड द पेटंट गेट्स ग्रँटेड. सो दिस इज अ मेथड. यू फाईल अ पेटंट application, it gets published. There may be a pre-grant opposition or there may not be after publication. Then it gets examined. Then application in order for grant. Then the grant gets published and it is still open for post-grant opposition for 1 year. So this is how you file a patent. While filing a patent, you need these documents. It is a Form 1. Now, if you go to Patent Office website, you will be able to download these forms. So Form 1 मध्ये तुमचं नाव काय आहे, तुमच्या इन्व्हेन्शनचं नाम काय आहे, कोण कोण इन्व्हेंटर्स आहेत, हे सगळं लिहायला लागतं. Form 2 मध्ये तुम्हाला डिटेल मध्ये तुमच्या पेटंटचा ड्राफ्ट लिहायला लागतो. तुमच्याशिवाय दुसरं कुणीही त्याचा इन्व्हेंटर नाहीये असं इंडिकेशन तुम्हाला Form 3 मध्ये लिहायला लागतं. जर तुमच्याशिवाय दुसऱ्या कोणाला तरी तुम्हाला ते पेटंट फाईल करायला द्यायचं असेल तर Form 26 भरून आपल्याला पॉवर ऑफ अटॉर्नी त्याला द्यायला लागते. आणि तुम्ही ह्याचे खरे इन्व्हेंटर आहात असा एक Form 5 भरायला लागतो. आणि मग स्टॅट्युटरी ज्या फीज असतात त्या भरून तुम्ही पेटंट फाईल करू शकता. So this is how you apply for a patent. Okay. So I feel, as I said, it is very difficult to cover the entire topic in 1 year. 1 hour, but I feel I should take questions and I'll answer any questions if you may have. Otherwise, you can tell me if you want me to cover any particular type.
जाऊ का असाच मोबाईल संपलेलं काहीच नाही. Ma'am, I have one question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Ma'am, first of all, I would like to mention that thank you very much for such a lucid topic which you have covered, and I have heard you many a times. And especially when I saw that Mrudula Bele madam is there as a speaker, I had joined this webinar, especially to hear you. You speak so nicely, and the idea gets very clear. So thank you very much, ma'am. And my question is, ma'am, that if I have many ideas, like I am a researcher, I am an academician, and my subject is botany. I
You're
have
not audible. A lot of background noise.
yeah, ma'am, somebody's mic is on, I think, so that's why.
Okay, you go ahead.
Ma'am, I have two, three ideas which I feel that they are patentable, and they have all these characteristics which you said as which are required
Right.
to be a patent. So now the
Okay.
question in my mind is, like, if I want to go for its patent, how should I
Mhm.
proceed it? I mean, how should I go for? Means which is the first step which I should do? I should search for a lawyer, or what exactly I should do
Yes,
that I
you
will
first
expect
have to prepare the draft and
Okay.
find out, search a patent attorney. If you are confident that you would be able to draft your own patent, then there is no need to search for a lawyer. Okay. You can find out on YouTube. There would be some tutorials on how to draft a patent. So if you are able to draft your own patent, that's fine. If you're not able to, then you try to find out a patent attorney. He will charge you heavy fees, but he will he will prepare a nice draft. And then if you have approached a patent attorney, then you don't have to do anything. He will tell you everything. Just give him the power of attorney in Form 26, and he will do the filing for you. If you don't want to hire a patent attorney and you want to draft your own patent, then do it. Go to Indian Patent Office's websites, ipindia.com. Download the forms which I told you, which you have to submit along with the patents. Fill in those forms. If there are some co-inventors along with you, write down their names, take their signatures, and go to the patent office and file a patent. Okay. Now, after filing a patent, your job is not done. You have to file a request for examination within 48 months of filing a patent. Now, request for examination is you can file it along with your patent itself. तुम्हाला 48 महिने थांबायची गरज नाही. But always remember that the patent office will not examine your patent if you don't file a request for examination. Okay. So either you have an option to file a request for examination within 48 months, or if you wish, you can file a request for examination along with your patent. And once you file that request, then within 18 months, your patent will get published. It will get examined after, if you have simultaneously, if you have filed it. And then you will get a communication from the patent office, which is called office action. सो ते तुम्हाला सांगतील की तुमचा ह्या नंबरच्या क्लेम मध्ये आम्हाला गडबड वाटतंय, ते मॉडिफाय करा. सो दे विल रेज सेव्हरल क्वेश्चन्स, queries, try to satisfy those queries and communicate within 6 months. And if they are satisfied, then they will grant a patent. So that is how you go ahead.
Okay. So, ma'am, the first examination, is it that it is known as a first examination report?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? This becomes impossible to cover in 1 hour, and I feel, Dikshit sir, you should have workshops of a day in which we would be able to teach how to search a patent, how to draft a patent, and that would be more useful.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Please proceed.
Any other questions? All right. So shall we stop, or sir, you want me to cover anything else?
No, madam. If it is okay, if you have finished everything, if there that there are no questions.
All right, then we'll stop.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This was really a brainstorming lecture. Madam, you have explained this subject in a simple, lucid manner. Small corners of intellectual property rights, you have explained in a very simple manner. It's really a great treat for all of us. Now, may I request the chairperson of this session, Dr. Sarita Mane, for her presidential remarks.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. 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 Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Continue.
Good afternoon, all of you. At the very outset, I would like to thank today's resource person, Dr. Mrudula Bele, madam, for her scholarly lectures. We are very fortunate to have such an eminent personality to be a resource person for today's one-day national level webinar organized on the topic intellectual property rights and filing patents by internal quality assurance cell, Mudoji College, Fulton. Today's webinar was organized with the motive of extending the knowledge on the intellectual property rights, its importance and protection. Madam has rightly pointed out that is with the increasing focus on research, innovation, and cross-border collaboration, we need to learn about intellectual property rights to safeguard our innovations. She has clearly pointed out that is intellectual property rights. They help in protecting as well as commercializing the innovations. Even we know that is in the present scenario of globalization, the intellectual property rights is the focal point in globe trade practices and livelihood across the world. The present lecture is an overview of various laws dealing with innovation and intellectual in property law. Madam has elaborated all aspects of intellectual property rights in detail, along with their protection criteria. Even she has also highlighted various terms of IPR, such as patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, geographic indications, with their corresponding rules, regulations, then their need and role in the society. Even that is from her speech, we came to know that is how this intellectual property is, or that is this intellectual property is the creation of human mind. In fact, it may be the idea or invention which might be the outcome of many years of hard work. And if the intellectual property without protection is disclosed or leaked, then the inventor is at loss, as he or she cannot claim that it was his or her original creation. Even that is we have a discussion on the questions like through the lectures of madam, that is we got the answers of the questions like what is the concept of intellectual property right, then what are the types of intellectual property rights, then how we can protect that is our intellectual property rights. That is these are some of the questions that is we got the answer of this question. Then she has also highlighted, she has pointed out that how these rights boost the innovative environment by giving recognition and economic benefits to creator or inventor, and how the lack of intellectual property rights awareness and its ineffectiveness implementation may hamper the economic, technical, and societal developments of a nation. Then it is generally observed that is the publications and patents applications have been found to be highest from engineering and technology institutes. For instance, we say that is the technical institutes like IIT, they continue to file maximum patents, and even we say that is they encourage their students that is to file maximum patents. But if we compare that is these technical institutions to the traditional courses, that is it can be observed that is this awareness, this kind of awareness or the awareness of IPR is limited to higher education institutions. So intellectual property law rights awareness should be made a part of curriculum. Then it means even we that is in our reading we that is came to know that is the experts they believe that, or they are of the opinion that is the foundational awareness regarding the rights of creator needs to be developed in students so that they can grow on to get into the professional world where they will develop and exercise IP rights. Hence, it must be made the part of academic curriculum at a university level that is similar to the environmental studies course in all the higher education institutes. So that is to aware the students regarding this IPR, that is the workshop should be organized to aware the students. Then taking into its importance into consideration, that is we have to take a lot of efforts to make students aware of the importance of IPR and filing procedures of patent, because we know that is the young researchers need to know more about these IP rights and the procedures of filing patents. So that is while concluding my speech, that is I would like to say that is today's webinar is the best example of it, and this is that is we began, that is our mission with this webinar. And I know that is here are some of the students from that is commerce stream. They are they joined here, and I that is with that is I'm very sure that the students get benefited by this lecture, and that is I would like to thank that is the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presidential remark. Now it's time to end this session, and it's a matter of pride for me that I am proposing a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank to our honorable resource person, Dr. Mridula Bele Madam, for accepting our invitation and enlightening us with your scholarly and motivating words. It really means a lot. I express my gratitude towards you from IQSC and Mudoji College, Fulton. I also thank today's chairperson, Dr. Sarita Mane, Head, Department of English, for taking her time from her busy schedule. I also thank InCharge Principal for its support, guidance, for organization of this webinar. Dr. P.H. Kadam, who has really supported a lot for organizing this webinar. I express my heartfelt thanks to the convener of this webinar, Dr. Sanjay Dixit sir, for taking the initiative and giving us the opportunity to listen to these scholarly words. I also thank Professor Sachin Lamkane sir for the technical support never forgetting the delegates because of whose presence this webinar is a success. And all the students who were present throughout the program, thank you one and all. One request is there, link will be given, feedback link will be given in the group, and you can get, by clicking the feedback from, you can get your certificates also. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining us.